Alrighty guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are spectating my duo's second place 1-kill game in the Solo Victory Cup. And basically, this is him just like camping a lot. He does make a lot of mistakes in this, so I will show you how to avoid these mistakes. Okay? So first thing he does is he's landing at squibbly shores, only because he has died so many of his games. So it's just not a good idea to like not key at all. And yet barely anybody contested him here, only 3 contesters, so he only ended up getting 1 kill. But he just lands on top of this roof and loots up. I don't even think, no, he doesn't even get into a fight at all over here. So we're just gonna skip this. He just basically just loots up this whole building. Alright, now I believe we've just jumped into 7th zone. Yeah, I believe so. Now this is basically what he does. He has pretty clean rotates. This is also not a stacked game though. However, first mistake right here is he is not carrying one of the new shotguns. This shotgun you literally need to have. Also, power gloves are definitely going to be necessary as well. And basically he's just camping here. He doesn't really need to get anything. Unless you have Surge, you shouldn't be playing like this. Or, unless you have Surge, you should be playing like this. However, he does make some mistakes, is what he told me. So basically, I'm just going to tell you what not to do. He does have a lot of mats, 118 builds. So that is pretty good. He's just looking at this guy in a cone, seeing if he edits. Now we're moving to the 8th zone, and as you can tell, when we zoom in over here, you can see that he, as right now is like right here, he is the last to rotate out of his area. This, you most of the time, do not want to happen. You want to be somewhere in the middle, is what I've seen, only because of the fact that you can get held super easily. So he is one of the last. However, he does make a pretty good rotate right here. And he's almost into the zone right here. And he still has pretty decent builds. Now, he should not have edited at that time. If this was a stacked lobby, that guy, like, if that guy needed Surge and this was a stacked lobby, he could have easily gotten shot, like, for a while there. There was a big window right there. He could have gotten shot. But that is kind of just a little thing. He also turns away from the guy looking at him, by the way. You never want to do that. If this wall was just a little bit weaker, he would have gotten sprayed and hit for over 100 right there. And you can see this guy is carrying a new shotgun, as you see, like, with his character. It might be a bit laggy too, by the way, guys. Now, he is also making a lot of mistakes right here. First thing is, it's when he's getting sprayed right here, and he doesn't try to edit the cone before the wall breaks. Instead, he just tries to hold the wall. This, when you're playing on decently high ping, which he's playing on 40, which isn't terrible in here. If you are playing on high ping, however, you never want to do this. You want to get the cone, like, flipped, so that they can't hit you through the wall while you're, like, holding it. And he ends up taking the wall, especially when they have the new shotgun that hits for insane body. The iron pump is not going to beat that. So, you never want to reset the cone, especially if you hear that shotgun shot before this, and you know he has this shotgun, then you definitely do not want to be doing this. Especially because he can just switch to his twin mag SMG and kill him. And as you can tell, he got hit for 150 right there. And what he does right here, as you can see, he leaves through this opening right here, which if he didn't reset fast enough, he could have gotten shot through that small opening and died. And he also pushed himself onto the backside zone, which this was also a bad idea considering there was a guy right in front of him. If he got shot right there, would have been very, very bad. So instead, he just runs over to the right, which is a pretty good idea. Pops some chugs. He also pops another mini. And now he's pretty decent HP. However, shockwaving right there was pretty risky considering height was looking almost directly at that spot. You probably don't want to do that, you probably just want to get the effects there. However, he is in a pretty decent spot right now, and he's also crouch walking, which I like. Especially if you're not trying to key at all and play super passive. You always want to be crouch walking in your box so it looks like you're not dead. Now there is a guy right below him, and he does do that, which could have been risky, but it wasn't, considering that guy wasn't even looking at him. Also, when you have no shockwaves, you probably shouldn't be waiting on the backside of zone for this, especially when they're moving already. He should probably have not waited there. If this was more stacked, he probably would have died there. However, he is kind of just spinning in circles around here. You definitely don't want to be lost during endgame. He also just rotates right in the open. Luckily, Height had to reload right there, which I also would not do. As soon as you hear the bullets stop, though, that normally means they're reloading, so that's when you can normally do that. Now, he still has 37 builds, which is very good for this zone. And considering there's only 4 people left, I have absolutely no idea what this guy is doing. Here, let me just give you some tips right here. Now, basically, on this rotate, when he rotates around this guy popping a chug jug over here for absolutely no reason, he walks around this way into his edit while Height is spraying at him, by the way, and walks straight into his shotgun. Now he just runs around acting like he has 0 builds. Never ever do this. You need to tarp your way through right there so you don't get hit once. He gets hit once and he's dead. Luckily that guy missed his shot, or else he would have died there. Probably should have blocked it off. So if you were going to rotate on very low HP, you want to be tarping using every bit of mats you can, just so you don't die. And he's not even popping his minis now. Okay, there we go. Still having 34 builds. Barely makes out a zone right here. This is good now. Now he's boxed up. And people are probably close to out of mats here. So this is what I like. He also spent way too many mats on there. You do not need to be spamming cones and floors like that. All you need is one simple tarp without extra protection. He just spent way too much on that. Could have been enough. I don't really know too much, but what I'm thinking is that was too much. Now top 3 right now, he only has 2 builds. Right here, that was very close. Now basically, I don't know how he won that. All he did was place a floor in there and get lucky. When someone's facing in like that and you're low HP, normally you don't want to be facing them head on. However, I don't think he had a different option in this case, so what I liked there is that he did move around when he was getting shot at. That's perfect. And now he has a lot of mats for this, so he can tarp a little bit. However, the guy is on high ground. And he only has 4 builds. I mean, the chops are not looking too good. However, he just put himself on 11 HP. You probably don't want to be dancing around in the open when they're on high ground. You probably want to be standing back zone trying to break them down. But this guy has a lot of mats. This is kind of unreal. On 1 HP, by the way. So, this is definitely very difficult to win. Yeah. And he just gets finished off right there because he has nothing. However, still a decent game. There is some stuff he needs to learn here. However, I'm trying to fix that for him. Anyways, goodbye, guys.